he never died. A dark, rotting doctor, trapped in time, still clinging to a delusion of healing and the horror of rot. The plague doctor haunts the present, obsessed with curing a disease that doesn't exist, leaving only mutilated corpses and twisted cures in his wake. SCP-049 isn't just a man in a mask. It's a being convinced that it alone holds the cure to a mysterious and deadly affliction called the pestilence. This isn't a sickness any doctor could diagnose. To the plague doctor, the world is filled with this unseen plague, and its mission is to eradicate it by any means necessary. What follows is a dark tale of obsession and madness, where an ancient figure's quest for a cure has turned countless victims into reanimated husks, devoid of life but still moving. The plague doctor believes itself a savior, tirelessly working to rid humanity of a disease only it can see. But in its relentless pursuit, the line between healer and harbinger of death is erased, leaving behind a wake of horrors disguised as cures. Its crude surgeries, misguided treatments, and delusional certainty about the pestilence reveal not just an entity trapped in an ancient time, but a figure whose compassion has long since decayed, replaced by a chilling determination to cleanse the world at any cost. What is the pestilence? And does SCP-049 hold the cure? Or is it the very embodiment of a plague all its own? The entity presents a calm and articulate demeanor, speaking in various languages like English and French, albeit with an archaic tone. It claims to be a physician of great knowledge, perpetually seeking to cure the pestilence. Yet, despite repeated questioning, SCP-049 has never provided a clear definition of this disease or a consistent explanation for its symptoms. To the plague doctor, the pestilence is a pervasive metaphysical illness affecting all of humanity in some elusive form. When the plague doctor encounters a subject it deems infected, its behavior becomes agitated, pacing, or exhibiting signs of distress. In these states, it demands to perform treatment. If granted permission, or if it bypasses containment, it quickly seeks to cure the afflicted. The treatment is primitive and gruesome, involving tools from a black leather bag that appears as old as the entity itself. The bag contains instruments reminiscent of medieval surgical devices, bone saws, scalpels, forceps, and other implements of a dark purpose. The procedures typically involve invasive surgery, where the plague doctor removes various organs and tissues with a disturbingly precise touch. Patients do not survive in any recognizable form, but this is not the end. Minutes to hours after the procedure, the bodies reanimate. These beings, designated SCP-0492, exhibit minimal brain function and respond to basic stimuli, often moving aimlessly or behaving aggressively. Despite being revived, they retain none of their former consciousness, memories, or personality. The plague doctor shows visible frustration when its treatments fail to yield what it considers a successful cure. In moments of deep melancholy, it speaks with sorrow, lamenting its inability to fully eradicate the pestilence. The entity appears genuinely concerned for its patients, convinced of the necessity and righteousness of its actions. It views itself as a devoted physician, unable to comprehend why others see its work as anything but salvation. Interviews with the plague doctor reveal its philosophical musings on disease and the decay of the human condition. It describes humanity as a grand, rotting organism that must be purged. When asked to clarify what the pestilence actually is, its responses become vague, referring to a great corruption or malignant essence that infests the very fabric of life itself. The plague doctor either cannot or will not articulate the illness in terms understandable to modern medicine. While SCP-049 is typically cooperative in containment, any challenge to the legitimacy of its cures triggers a shift in behavior. The calm, philosophical tone gives way to defensiveness and hostility, often refusing further dialogue and instead focusing on its surgical tools, which it maintains meticulously, as if preparing for its next chance to treat. Despite being secured under stringent conditions, the plague doctor has demonstrated a troubling ability to breach containment when provoked. It has treated nearby personnel whom it deemed infected, leading the Foundation to implement strict containment protocols. No personnel may approach within a 5-meter radius without appropriate sedation measures, and anyone exhibiting symptoms of illness is immediately removed from the vicinity. The true origins of the plague doctor remain an enigma. Although it claims to be a physician from the 15th or 16th century, no historical records verify its existence or the specific philosophies it describes. Some theorize that SCP-049 could be a manifestation of humanity's deep-seated fear of disease, taking form as the infamous plague doctor. Others suggest an origin rooted in ancient occult practices, perhaps linked to alchemy or early medicinal mysticism. But to truly understand the plague doctor, one must see it in action. The plague doctor strides down the dimly lit corridor, its black robes billowing behind it. The air is thick with the scent of antiseptic and decay. It comes to a halt in front of a cell door, tilting its head slightly, as if listening for something only it can hear. From inside, a soft, labored breathing echoes out, uneven, sickly. The door opens with a groan, revealing a young man strapped to a gurney. His skin is pale and beaded with sweat, his eyes wide with fear as he struggles weakly against his restraints. The plague doctor steps inside, its gloved hands clasped in front of it. "Fear not, my child," it says, its voice calm and reassuring. "I am here to help you. The pestilence has taken hold, but I shall see you cured." The young man whimpers as the plague doctor retrieves a bone saw from its leather bag, the rusted metal glinting under the flickering lights. "Please don't," he gasps, his voice barely a whisper. The plague doctor merely tilts its head in a gesture of sympathy, almost as if it understands his suffering. "I know this must be frightening, but the treatment is necessary. The pestilence must be eradicated." It begins its work, cutting through flesh and bone with meticulous precision. The man's cries echo down the corridor, then abruptly fall silent. After a time, the plague doctor steps back, wiping its tools clean with a practiced hand. The figure on the gurney lies motionless, eyes staring blankly at the ceiling. For a moment, it seems that all is still. Then, with a shudder, the body stirs. The man's limbs twitch and convulse, and he slowly rises from the gurney. His eyes are vacant, his movements jerky and unnatural. He has become SCP-049-2, a cured specimen, devoid of thought, reduced to a hollow shell of the person he once was. The plague doctor steps closer, resting a gloved hand on the man's shoulder as if in consolation. There now. You are free from the affliction. You may not understand, but you are saved. It pauses, a note of sorrow creeping into its voice. If only more could see the necessity of these measures. As the newly reanimated man stumbles aimlessly around the cell, the plague doctor collects its bag and prepares to leave. It turns back for one last look, observing its latest patient with a mixture of pride and melancholy. It knows the world will never comprehend the sacrifices it makes to rid humanity of the unseen plague. But it does not waver. There is still so much work to be done. Ultimately, SCP-049 is a chilling reminder of the thin line between healer and executioner. It challenges our understanding of life and death, raising questions about whether its delusions conceal a deeper truth, or if it is simply a horror born from the dark depths of history. The plague doctor's unsettling blend of compassion and madness suggests that even the pursuit of healing can become twisted when one strays too far from the bounds of reason. And so we are left to ponder the true nature of the plague doctor, whether it is a misguided savior lost in the shadows of time, or a bringer of death cloaked in the guise of a healer. It stands as a stark reminder that even the purest intentions can lead to the darkest paths. If you enjoyed unraveling this tale of mystery and madness, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our journey into the unknown. Thank you for watching, and until next time, sleep well, if you can. Good night.